Hey guys, Kyle here. So like I was talking about in my last video, I want to be setting up the IAG AOS Street series. So let me show what this comes with. The obviously the AOS separator, all the tubing that you're going to need for this install, brackets, butt ton of zip ties, other tubing, hose clamps. So what I'm going to be doing, and in case you guys are wondering, I've got this, instead of it being propped right here, I do have it set up in that back hole to hold it up higher. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading the IAG instructions from their website. So now, first things first is I need to take off the intercooler. Alright, so make your life easier, go ahead and remove the airbox, unless you have like a ram air or whatever. But it looks like we're going to be removing this hose right here. Just the front crank ventilation. Not sure what's dripping out of that. Yeah, definitely oil. Leaking out, so we got that one cleared. Let's check this out. Oh yeah, another thing, disconnect the battery. And then the other one, it's over here by this battery. And let's see. And looks like I'm gonna have to work to get my hands down here as well. So, alright, so this hose, what do I do with it? There it is. So this hose came off right there. You can see that right behind that blue sensor. I just pulled this thing out because there was nothing connection in it. So that makes two. Now the next one, so it looks like I need to remove from the OEM blow-by sensor, which is going to be that right here. So it looks like I need to take that thing off. This is what I just took off, and took it off right from there. That open spot is that hose and this hose. So it came off just like that. Alright, let's see what's next. Okay, so following what IAG says, they do supply you with this and this. So if this thing is damaged or anything like that, you can reuse this, but for me, I don't want to. I don't want to, so this we now put right back in here where we just took that other one out at. There we go. Pop that baby right on. Alright, now the next step, it says you don't have to remove the throttle body, but it makes steps on down the line for routing hoses easier, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the throttle body. Alright, so after you get the throttle body off, you got to remove this line right here. So, alright, that's off. Now the hose will just come right off. There we go. Alright, see what's next. Alright, so next thing on the list is to use the supplied 3/8 tubing. We go to the bottom of this, run this thing on in, and then it says I need to use a zip tie to secure it to that nipple, which I've still got this, so why don't I just reuse that if I can? Will it fit? Yes, it will. Of course, it's 3/8. So I'm gonna go ahead and reuse this and then reinstall the throttle body. All right, so I just made a discovery. You actually cannot reuse this because this hose is actually fatter than the stock hose, and so whenever it gets over that nipple, it becomes too fat for that clamp to get around it. So it looks like you have to use a zip tie unless you have a larger one of those. So I just realized something while I was doing this. Right before I put on the throttle body, I realized that I could do the coolant bypass. Now, if you don't know what the coolant bypass is, well, let me tell you, it's our throttle bodies have a coolant that goes into one right here, and the other one is right down here. So what that does it actually heats up the throttle body plate, at least right in here. That prevents the butterfly valve from getting stuck. That is for like sub-zero temperatures and all that in, you know, colder climate areas. Well, where I live, I don't need that. So basically what this does is that we take in this air from the intercooler to cool it down, but the throttle body heats up the air again. So what you do, you unhook your coolant line here, you unhook your coolant line here, and I believe I can actually reuse this line to go right down here, because this is where this one goes. That's for the bottom one. And it looks like this is going to be long enough so I can plug it into here. I'm getting ready to find out. Let's check this out. That was an exact fit. It's like that line that has a dual purpose. So yeah, so just take that, I think that was for the top of the coolant line on the throttle body. Yes, so the top one. You guys can actually take that and run that around for here and get rid of this line right here. And then take some 5/16 vacuum line plugs and plug them up. And I'm going to clean this thing up first before I stick it back on. Next up is to relocate. This is for the 07 STIs only. You got to relocate this main harness. Unclip here, and there's a clip somewhere down here we got to unclip to take this thing off. So let's do that. To take this off, put your flathead down here, pop this one loose, and then you got to go in from the underside here, and right here you got to lift that tab up and this thing just slides off. Okay, let's see what's next. All right, next we got to remove these two bolts to take out this main wiring harness bracket. Then we need to remove this bolt as well, and then let's go from there. Okay, so after removing those bolts, you take the supplied bolts and you run them through these threads and to clean them out. I noticed on my brake line, see how that it's a little bit off. I don't know because I got this used or whatnot, but yeah, this is just a tad bit off, so that's why it's a little bit more difficult for me. That may be the case for you, I'm not sure. But next, need to install these two lines into the coolant lines, which is upper and lower. So after that, you hand tighten them, then you do a little extra tightening with a 7/8 inch wrench. Before I did that, I went ahead and heated up this sticker, and this is like a vinyl sticker. So now all I got to do is get my microfiber cloth with a some grease remover, or I forget what I have in here, but yeah, I've got something to remove the sticky residue. It's what I use to remove the gunk whenever I debadge my 13 STI. But yeah, get that and rub this off, and then get going with the coolant lines. So after you get the top and bottom coolant hose installed, attach the 1/2 inch drain hose, secure it with a zip tie, and then go ahead and turn it on around and secure the bracket. Now it says this bottom hole, the one on the far right that doesn't have anything in it, is supposed to be aligned with that bottom hole that does have the Allen screw. That's why it looks a little bit off. All right, so let's see what's next. So next job here is to bend the brake lines up by hand, which it shows in the picture should just be pretty easy. Yeah, see, they're already starting to bend up. This way we can make room, so I'm gonna get in here with both hands, bend these things up higher, because obviously, if you guys haven't figured out, this is where the brackets goes for the AOS. Goes right here, and it's gonna sit right in this corner. So we need to bend this up to make some room, just a little bit. So after you bend those things up, it's time to install this using these two supplied ones, those two right there. Then we're gonna go ahead and attach that. After we get that installed, it says to secure the wiring harness right down here along this brake line, and get that as good as you possibly can, because obviously we don't want this stuff touching the downpipe or the turbo. Even though it does have heat shields on it, don't quite have a turbo blanket for this yet. That'll come later. But yeah, so try to get that. To minimize coolant loss, pinch off the lower coolant hose that connects the turbo to the cylinder head using hose crimping pliers. And got that here. I believe which hose that is. I believe it's this one right here that's got the metal on it, or the metal casing for heat, because that's the only one I can see, or I can really think of that looks like it's connected from the cylinder head right here to the turbo right down here. I just can't see where this line goes, but I'm pretty sure this is it. So we're going to cut that off, cut that supply off, and then we're going to take this coolant line, and this one is going to plug in right here. I'm going to use the supplies hose crimp on that, what I have on the ground, whatever there. Remember, you can always take more off, but you cannot add it back on. So just FYI, I got this a little tiny bit too short here. There should be a better bend, but I mean, this isn't going nowhere. This is good material, good quality product. But yeah, this isn't coming off. Okay, so anyways, not to make that same mistake again. So now we take the lower coolant hose and we're going to plumb it in to the hardline piping right here for the turbo. So this one is going to go like that. So do the same thing. Trim the length. Leave a little bit extra because you can always take more off. So be mindful of that. All right, so next thing is to route the drain hose for the oil right here. This is how I routed this, but I went right through here, go through this little hole in the bracket, and then connects to this spot right here. So on the little Y, connects on the little arm right here, just right underneath the turbo. And this is going to be a pain in the butt to get the coupler back on because this thing is like touching, so I'm not too sure how this is going to play out, but we shall see. Next is you get your 5/8 inch tube that's come supplied, and you get your elbow right here. What we're going to do, we're going to take this piece, we're going to fit the 3-inch piece right here and put on this elbow into this. So elbow's going to fit right in here. And also what really helps, put some lubrication on these things. It makes life easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Next is we take the piece of breather hose that we just trimmed. I'm going to take it, we go from here down to this bottom, the 5/8 breather hose on here. Now it says to go over the top of the heat shield and underneath the bracket, so like this basically. But whenever I got this car, it doesn't have a heat shield, so I'm going to see if I can't do this instead, because I don't know, I need to see if something's going to be blocking this, if that hose is going to block here, or if I have to do this, or what. Alright, so after putting the intercooler up on here, this thing was actually going to be obstructed, so it looks like you need to go underneath here. And I've got it hooked around here. Looks like AC line. So this way, hopefully this will be far enough away from the turbo, but I definitely need to get a blanket on this thing. Yeah, like soon, because I hope that's gonna be far enough away. If not, I need to get some like metal coating that I can wrap this stuff in. So after that, looks like you need to secure it with zip ties, and let's move on to the next step. So the next step is to take your 1/2-inch breather line, this really long one, and we're going to be routing it down to this top of the cover here for that port that we took off earlier. I'll route that thing on down, and we're going to snake it on behind here. Okay, so after you have that line routed, see I did that, still putting all behind this line right here. Come up to the passenger side, take your mater hose, connect it on in. I have this routed on up. This is what they said to do. Then route it next to this, and then I just need to trim this and then secure it with a zip tie as well, and then proceed to the following step, which is going to be this hose right here, and this one is going to be leading up, and it's going to connect to the top of there. Alright, so now that we got those ran, next on the list is we take this straight pipe, we're going to put it into this breather, and then take this hose and we're going to put it up to this slot. Alright, next we're going to take this 90-degree bend, we're going to take the remainder of this, and we're going to cut 2 inches off of this, slide that onto this, slide the 90-degree onto that, and then I believe it's going to run the remainder of that to that section. Alright, and now you did that, wrap that up. Obviously this is going to be like this, so leave yourself some extra room. Other than that, we should be done. So next thing is to get the intercooler back on. Alright, so I want to show you guys this here. With how they wanted me to route the line, going through here and going through here, this was touching on the intake for the turbo, okay? Like there was no way, no visible way I could see in order to get the piping on here for the intercooler. So this is what I'm doing, okay? I went to Went to O'Reilly's, got myself a 90-degree elbow. I'm running this line right through here, and then still had enough line left over that I can take this, I can hook it right here. It's gonna go underneath, and it's gonna set up right here. Now this line, now the drain line is tucked away right there. So, all right, so that thing went on like a piece of cake, like it normally does. So if you guys are gonna do this, I would definitely suggest routing it the way I did. Either use the longer, use more hose, or go find an elbow joint where you can route that to that remainder hose if you guys did exactly like how I did. But yeah, so there you go. There's a IAG AOS in World Rally Blue. Blends in quite nicely with the engine bay, I gotta say. I'm definitely happy I went with that. So guys, that first install videos in like a year. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys learned something. I want to give a big thank you to Jordan from Define Performance. He's an awesome parts guy. I mean, he'll get you the best deal, hands down. So if you guys need some awesome parts, go see Jordan from Define Performance, and he'll set you up. And no, he's not paying me to say this. He doesn't even know I'm doing this. So go check him out. He's got awesome parts, great prices. I'll see you when I see you guys. Later.